If you're going to make it in the real estate business, you're going to have to treat your business like a business, and that includes creating a budget. Last week in my video series, I went into the A's in the A to Z's of real estate. Now, if you're new to the channel or you're new to my videos, you may not be aware that I wrote a book called Elite Agents, and it's all about getting your real estate business off the ground. And that book, I have a chapter that I call the A to Z's. And as I previously mentioned, last week was A, this week is going to be B. We're going to jump into budgeting, but not just budgeting your money, also budgeting your time, both of which are crucial if you're going to make it in our business. As a real estate professional, it's extremely important that you treat your business like a business. If you're going to make it in our industry, then you've got to figure out what you're going to budget, what your expenses are. Hey guys, it's Dave here with Elite Real Estate Coaching and Training, and today we're going to talk about the importance of budgeting. We're going to talk about the importance of budgeting two separate things, both your money and your time. So the vast majority of people who enter our industry don't really start by thinking about building a business. They think their job is to sell some homes. And while selling homes is the byproduct of what we do, the truth of the matter is if you're going to make it in our industry, you've got to think like a business owner. You wouldn't open any normal business and not have a budget. You wouldn't open a business and not understand what your basic business expenses were. Far too many people in our industry have no budget. They have no clue what it even costs to be a realtor. Here in Kansas City, I tell people that the average realtor is going to sell about a house a year just to break even. So if you're one of those agents that only sells a handful of homes a year, a vast majority of your income goes to pay your expenses. So what kind of expenses are there? Well, you got to join the Board of Realtors, the National Association, the State Association. You need an e-key. You need to join the MLS so you can use the MLS database. You're going to need expenses to keep your car up and running. You're going to need a really amazing cell phone plan. You're going to have to spend some money on marketing. You're going to have to spend money for things like business cards and yard signs. And that's just kind of the tip of the iceberg on business expenses. So what are you going to spend this year? Then we have to ask ourselves how much we're going to make and what percent of our overall income should be spent on expenses. I've had the unfortunate opportunity to sit down with some real estate agents who felt like they had a great business, only to find out that their cost of sale, or the amount of their money that they earned that went back just to pay the basic expenses, was running at 30 and 40 and sometimes even 50%. I'm here to tell you that's way, way too high. Your true cost of sales shouldn't be any more than 20%. And in many cases, if you're a high producing agent, that cost of sales comes way down. But every expense for your business needs to be factored into your cost of sale, like your broker. What percentage of the money that you generate goes towards the brokerage fees? What percentage of the money you generate goes towards your MLS fees? One of the things that we know as a real estate agent is that not all fees are set. So that some things are $1 and some things are a percentage in this world. It's just like that with our clients. Like when we ask a client, what does it cost to buy a house? Some of those fees are set dollar amounts, like an appraisal. So here in Kansas City, an appraisal runs somewhere around $500 or $600 right now. That is a much bigger percentage of a $100,000 home than it is of a $500,000 home. So it's really important that when you're analyzing your business expenses for the year, that you've built out a budget of your known expenses. Now, this is really important because once you've done that, you're less susceptible to all of the snake oil salespeople that are blowing up your phone at any given point in time. You see, it's much easier to say, I'm sorry, that's just not in my budget this year, than it is to say, no, I don't want that product. Even if it's a really great product, but it doesn't fit in your budget and you want that new product, well, then we've got to cut something else out of the budget so you can make the money. Or you're simply selling real estate to make a whole bunch of other people money and you're not taking any money home. So let's start with building a budget with your known expenses. Then let's figure out a way to track those expenses. I talk to a lot of real estate agents who commingle their funds. So they have one checking account, probably not a great idea. So they can't tell me the difference between their personal expenses and their business expenses. And that makes for a really challenging time at the end of the year when you do your taxes. So if you haven't already done so, you need to go open a business account at your local bank, get an ATM card or a credit card tied to that account, and all of your money should go into that account. You pay your expenses, and then you pay you. So how much of your money are you going to pay you so that you have a budget for paying you? What I tell people is it's a lot similar to the budgeting process for your business. Figure out what you need to budget for at your home and pay yourself that every single month. And then at the end of a quarter, pay yourself out bonuses if you exceed your budget. That's like any business would do. Pay yourself a bonus instead of taking a salary that you can't afford. Then let's talk about budgeting time. When I see an agent struggle, it's because they haven't budgeted their time well. If you don't know what you're going to be doing the next day before you go to bed the night before, you're probably going to be in for a long haul. I've done a video in the past where I talk to agents about, I call them hurricane agents. So we call these people hurricane agents that kind of blow into the office and they blow up and they blow out and there's papers following along behind them. I don't want you to be one of those people. And it doesn't have to be that way. Those agents that live that life of constantly putting out fires and running around with their hair on fire while trying to put out other people's fires, well, there's a massive burnout rate for them. Those people don't tend to last long. They tend to become grumpy and bitter and kind of hard to deal with. The staff at the real estate offices don't want to see them coming because they know there's going to be a mess when they do show up. So how do you budget your time? The fallacy that we've all been taught is that you should start by having a great list of things you want to accomplish each day. And while that is a really good start, we need to analyze that list and break down how much time the items on the list are actually going to take. So if I have 15 items on my list and each of them takes roughly an hour to accomplish, well, doggone it, I know I'm going to need to work 15 hours that day. That's probably unrealistic for most real estate professionals. So then we need to figure out which items on that list can be done today. And then the next ones we can either delay or delegate or admit we're not going to get them done. And I'll go into great detail on that later on when I talk about time management better. But having a budget for your week, for the time that you spend in your business, and getting up and treating your business like a business on a daily basis, and then having a budget for your spending for your business is going to be really critical as you try to actually build a successful and sustainable real estate business that'll be in the market for years to come. Guys, I hope you liked the video. If you do, be sure and click the like button and the subscribe button. If there's anything I can do for you, as always, there's my phone number and there's my email address. Don't hesitate to reach out to me. You can also leave a comment in the comment section below, and I will obviously reply to any comments you make. Make it a great day, guys. Stick around next week, and when we move off of the B into C in the A to Z's of real estate.